Good morning. I think I'm on. Good morning, everybody. It's Mira here from Buzz Career Counselling. Just had the weekend off from doing these, but I am going to keep posting them every day, just as things start to roll out and evolve in Australia. I'm just going to close that behind me. That's glary. Things have changed. I was just quickly watching something I posted last Tuesday, so not even a week ago, and I was talking as if you were all probably thinking I was a bit odd with the things that I was saying. So things are changing daily, hourly here in Australia. So I'm just going to talk still each day a little bit about something that's going on. I think right now today, because jobs in many areas, so in your restaurants, cafes, clubs, nightclubs, cinemas, I can't remember them all, but quite a few places where people congregate will be closing as of 12 o'clock today around Australia. So what does that mean for jobs? That means many jobs will be lost. Just firstly, I just want to talk about perhaps your job is not lost in that your place is going to actually operate takeaways. So it may just mean that you're going to change what you do, how you do it, and that's fantastic if you can do that. If you have the ability to do that in some places. So yeah, be flexible, go with that for your employer, because that means they stay afloat, you stay afloat. So, and if it is possible to, come up with some ideas, don't make the employer be the only one solving problems right now. So really use your teamwork, because if they stop, you stop working. So really use all your brains, all your creativity. It's a time to start thinking of things completely differently than the way you have been in the past. So, can you be doing the deliveries? How can you be doing the deliveries? If you're a bit of an automation whiz, can you be setting that up in your workplace so that people can be doing online ordering? Reduce the contact and solve all of those problems for your workplace. So that's one thing I wanted to say firstly, that is it possible for your company, your business, to still operate, but perhaps in a different way that still complies with the rules and regulations of COVID at the moment? Now's the time to get your thinking cap on. The other part is those who have lost their jobs. So perhaps you're in the industry, that wouldn't, I was going to say nightclubs then, but you know what? I've started to see things that we've just really got to think outside the box. I started to see things where people are having virtual parties. There's going to be a lot of virtual things happening at the moment. And when we see, I've been watching Ellen DeGeneres, she's videoing herself calling people saying, what are you doing? And they're saying nothing. That's how bored people are. So, people are going to be open. You've got to think of your market who's stuck at home doing nothing with so much time on their hands. So, even something like a nightclub, sure, no one can come in, you can't be doing takeaways, but can you, be setting up some sort of virtual party? People are still going to want to connect. People are going to want to be doing things. They're going to be wanting to have something that's happening at 9 o'clock or whatever it is. So still just don't put your energy into panic as much as putting your energy into what else can my industry be doing right now. So the third part to that is finance, which is, I guess, on many people's minds at the moment, as well as schools. But for today, we're going to be looking at finance. So I noticed that there's some, as well as the packages that were coming out prior to this, I noticed that there's openness to the Centrelink. So if you won't have a job, then you can, and I have heard stories where it's a little bit crazy and things have sort of started to crash, as you would imagine. But the government funding, so it's looking at, I think it was 1,100 of a sort of job search allowance. Obviously you won't be job searching, but New Start allowance. So that is available for people who no longer have their jobs. So I'll try and put some links and things in my Mira Miller Facebook page so that you can access those. So I'd be getting onto that if you know that your job is gone. I have also heard many cases where people are having to tap into annual leave, sick leave, any other leave that they've got first before they can go to Centrelink. So I'm not sure about that as yet, but that's what some people are saying workplaces are requiring. If you know any more information on that, please share it. Some people may have just, like retail, you may have just had reduced hours so far. So that's still a financial impact, even though you've still got some income coming in. My daughter's income was a wage cut, so she's only casual, but I imagine that's happening across the retail sector as well. So asking you to take less money, and I think if it means that, you know, you can sort of still be getting money, but how long it lasts, I don't know. So even that is going to be a financial impact on you, and, you know, having to sort of really seriously take a look at your finances, maybe speak to someone. I've heard that, you know, accessing your super, $10,000, I don't know what the implications are, whether that will be taxed or not, but that's potentially another thing to consider, that just right now that might take some stress off your, you know, payment of bills and rent or mortgage and things like that. May need to consider, but I'm guessing people won't be doing it right yet, but just maybe considering how to reduce some financial costs. There might be, I mean, there's obviously things that you're not going to attend anymore, so that money will be staying with you. That's, you know, things are changing, things are stopping. So perhaps, you know, Reach Week, I was going to say Netflix, but that might be a lifesaver for the time being. But, you know, things like that you're perhaps spending money on that you might not need to. So just to sort of start looking at reducing costs as well. What else have I got there? The other thing, I guess, that's on people's minds right now today is schools. And, you know, I don't want to get into that school debate even as a teacher in the past, but to sort of look at it even just from careers point of view, that some people will, you know, still be required to work. So all your nurses, doctors, aged care, supermarkets, pharmacy, things like that, deliveries, they will still be working. Thank you to those people who are sort of keeping our critical services going eventually as things start to slow for everybody else. But schools stopping now while you've still got your job, that's a bit of a tricky one. I understand that. I'm lucky to be able to work from home, and I'm very thankful for that. And I understand many can't and still expected to turn up for their job. Can we consider perhaps, you know, in the street, childminding or things like that? Can we kind of work together? Is there someone else, you know, in your area where you could share children? If you're working 3 days a week, they're working, you know, maybe part-time or something like that, that we can kind of come together as a community to support that if that is needed. I sort of have a feeling that once schools go, jobs will be going as well. They may kind of go together as things change. Who knows? Who really does know? No one knows. But yeah, maybe just sort of see if it is possible. I think that, you know, some schools were talking in Victoria where they're sort of considering closing or things like that. But I think some schools were talking even just having, you know, a few staff on board. At least you haven't got 1,200, you know, all us people like myself who can work from home, or who, you know, or teenagers, but it's possible. For others it might not be, but just 30 in a classroom seems a lot for social distancing. Okay, so there's a lot going on. It's been a big weekend for government, who have got an insane job to try and lead this country through this. But I would perhaps just start to sort of consider your finances, what's going to be happening, and do it from proactive as well, even if you haven't lost your job. Speak to your speak to your workplace, speak to HR about leave and things like that. Perhaps you can access leave if you need to for kids staying home. Perhaps you've got some leave there that you can sort of jump on at the moment, just to give you that breathing space while things are sorted out. So I wish everybody well. It's a very, very trying times. And I guess what keeps me breathing calmly is knowing that things are just changing so fast. So if we sort of get too hung up on what was said last night, I dare say something else will come out today. So if we sort of just try and ride it a little bit more lightly, because things are going to just change and we're going to have to be going through that impact every single day, which is pretty full on. I've got a chronic illness and it's impacts me, and I'm sure it's impacting everybody. So try to just ride them, hear it, how does it affect me, what do I need to be doing, and then sort of get proactive with your actions. So some people might be talking to financial support today, just to sort of see what they can do, how they can shuffle, again, be a bit creative. Some people will be talking to government for assistance. Others will be talking to their workplace HR and employers and bosses about what's available, what's on offer, how we're going to get through it. I think they're the sort of 3 areas of conversations that are happening at the moment. So good luck, everybody. I really do wish you well, and I'll be back here tomorrow. And please share this with people who perhaps when it's for anyone, but I particularly sort of feel when you're single, you haven't got that other person to chat about all this stuff with. So please just share it about and let people know that we're here and there's support. Okay, that's it for Monday, and I will chat to you again tomorrow. Bye.